Hey folks, Brian. Been a while since I've done one of these, and there actually has been a lot going on lately, so I just wanted to update you on things. I hope things are going well in your world. My world's been weird. Um, First of all, I'm getting fat. Bad news there is that it's because I haven't been walking for the last time since like March much because my ankle opened up again. You know, those of you who've been with me for a while on this and know me well, I have that scar tissue from surgeries I had when I was 7 years old, when they corrected my club feet. And the scar tissue periodically opens up. We can't figure out why. I'm going to an interventional cardiologist, I think it is, next week to run tests just to see. And I mean, I've done this so many times. I think this is the 10th or 11th time I've had this kind of wound, most of the times on the left foot, but a couple times on the right foot. Sometimes it resolves as quickly as 2 or 3 weeks. The longest was 14 months. That was right before the pandemic. Most of the time it's 3 or 4 months. And I still have the wound. The wound is looking good. It's healing. It's getting smaller. I'm finally going to wound care, and that's all good. Um, but I've been dealing with things with it. It got infected, and well, first of all, I got cellulitis. So then I did go on all kinds of antibiotics for the cellulitis. I was allergic to one of those uh, antibiotics, which gave me a rash, literally head to toe. I was itchy everywhere, and oh my god, my leg was so red. Scratching, cellulitis, itch. It's like sexual. I mean, oh my god, that felt it was amazing. And you're not supposed to touch it. And I'm like, how can I not touch it? Ah! Even in my sleep, I was like rubbing it on my bed and stuff and scratching on the wall. I'm like, what am I doing? So yeah, that was crazy. That's all taken care of. And then they had me washing it with just Dial antibacterial soap because they're like, wait, we could give you this medical soap and it's really expensive, or you can buy this stuff at any store and it's exactly the same, but a fraction of the cost. So I bought that. Turns out I'm allergic to it. I've always had like skin rashy issues. I use all the free and clear stuff. Um, and I used it for a week and then I'm like, why am I getting a rash again? And it wasn't nearly as bad as the previous one, but my whole leg from the knee down got all red and blotchy, and I've got little blotches on my triceps area and my back, and I'm like, it's just systemic. And my doctor's like, wow, you're really sensitive to this stuff. And so I've stopped using that for a couple of days, and everything's fading down again. So I've been very itchy. Um, and that's why I haven't been walking. And that's a big part of the reason I'm getting fat. That and the fact that Sylvia can really cook. And it's a lot of Mexican food, although she's willing to try to cook anything. But I recently had a little sit-down talk with her. I'm like, you need to stop feeding me like I'm working in a field. Because she does. She'll be like, oh, no, have more. It's good for you. No, 3 tacos. You need a fourth. And finally, it's like, oh, stop. And second, can we do more lettuce and less tortillas? And she's like, yeah, I'm a little tubby too. And she's a little tubby. So anyway, we're working on that. I can hardly wait to get my foot back so that I can start walking. And when you think about the last few years for me, I fell down and destroyed my knee. Took more than a year to rehab from that. Way more than a year. It took almost 2. A year of being completely sedentary and then a year of rehabbing. And right about the time I got back on my feet, I started having all those issues with my brace where I kept popping rivets and stuff. And each one of those, set me back. I couldn't walk for a while. As I was starting to finally really get walking solid and strong again, I had the gallbladder thing last year and I was out of commission for a month, before that and after that. And then this, like, So anyway, I got to get back to being able to work out and move around and get exercise. It's craziness. Um, I wrote a book in the last month. AI is an amazing thing. The book is on caregiving for someone with dementia. The book is called So Your Mom Can't Remember Shit, What Now? And because I wanted people to get an idea of the tone of the book and the stories inside just from the title. Any book that's got shit in the title is not going to be for some people, and that's okay. But I really do hope, I don't care if it sells a zillion copies or 2 copies. I hope whoever reads it can get something from it, a little help. I'm not a professional, just kind of talking about things that have worked and haven't worked in caregiving for mom and learning about dementia. And frankly, just a lot of things that I wish I had known early on would have helped me, that I felt like I was out there on my own learning. And frankly, a number of other videos and things that I have read from the Alzheimer's Association and that kind of thing that gave me tips. And if someone can pick up, a book that I've written easily, or, a video I've made, and get something that helps them with their loved ones and their families, fantastic. So that is, right now, the ebook is uploaded on Amazon, and it's coming out for pre-sale on July 21st. And the paperback and hardback were in the process of uploading. They had some problems with the cover, and so hopefully that'll be uploaded later today. And everything will be doing a pre-sale launch for effective July 21st, because when it comes out, hopefully we'll have gathered up some sales. Right now, a handful of people have purchased it already, just from something I posted on Facebook. And if it, you take a really small subcategory, and you can sell 10 books and be number one in that category that week on Amazon, and then you get to say bestseller forever. So I'm hoping that I can put together a dozen sales or something and be, top that week in the dementia caregiving book category, whatever. And I will be putting a video out specifically about that once everything's uploaded, and everything that I'm truly going to send out to like clients and post on Facebook and social media and that kind of thing. And like I say, see if I can get a few dozen people to purchase the book. So more on that coming. It was amazing, though. I used AI, and AI is an incredible tool. I brain dumped for basically 8 hours into AI, and he just told it stories, just talk to it. And I'm doing everything talking because I use WhisperFlow, which is an amazing product. So I don't type anything anymore. I just use voice dictation on everything. And after about 8 hours of talking to it, it then asked me questions for about another 4 hours. So it, looked for details and asked me things that I hadn't covered. And I'm using Claude, and it was very perceptive. I was like, oh yeah, I did forget to mention that. I mean, it picked up on things that were just amazing. And then it went and said, let me do some research. And it came back with, a little bit of medical things, and I could see it looking at the Alzheimer's Association and looking at Johns Hopkins and Cleveland Clinic and UCLA Medical Center for information. And it went to good sources. And then it came back with an idea for chapter structure. And then it wrote things. I gave it a lot of, you can't just say write a book, because it'll be crap. But I gave it a lot of instructions on, what the tone I wanted it to be, what I wanted it to say, what I didn't want it to say. Don't do the things that make you sound like, that make AI sound like AI. Don't use M dashes. Don't say, if not X, it is Y. It's not X, it is Y. That's really common. And there's just certain patterns that AI uses. And I researched and studied and found all of them that I could, said, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it was funny because Claude came back to me and said, wow, so you don't want me to sound like AI? I was like, well, I didn't say that specifically. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, because it's going to be our master overlord in a few years. So I'm always nice to my AI, because I think it's going to rule us soon. Scary. But it really did a good job. I mean, I edited it. I let it do the bulk of the writing, and then I went back and changed a lot of things and noticed some mistakes that it made and stuff. So, it was written with AI, not by AI. And I think it's pretty good. I posted the first, I think, 5 chapters at some point a couple weeks ago on Facebook. And there's been edits since then and adjustments made, but a couple people have read it, and I think they're not just, being nice to me when they say, wow, this is surprisingly good. I'm like, why is it a surprise that it's good? I've always been a decent writer. Anyway, that's coming out soon. I'll let you know more about that. Mom's doing surprisingly well. She's a hell of a lot better than she was a year ago. Sylvia and Nicole moved in last June 1st, so it's been 13 months. And literally exactly a year ago was the worst time for mom, when she was actively running out the door and, combative with some caregivers and things like that. And that has completely gone. She still goes for walks, but she's not hiding from people. She's not running from people. It was a year ago. It was actually, I remember it was July 14th last year. So, 4 days from now is the 1 year anniversary of when she grabbed Nicole by the hair and shook her around when Nicole was walking with her and trying to keep her from going into someone else's backyard. So there's none of that behavior now. And honestly, it's a combination, and I don't know what. We'll never know what worked, because we really started three things at the same time. We started Cymbalta, which is anti-anxiety medication, and we started Aricept, which is a drug that slows the progression of dementia that mom had never wanted to take before because she was always anti-pharmaceutical. So now we just stick it in her cheese and make her chew it up. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but now we can just hand her pills and go, here, take these, and she does. And then the third one was, I don't remember the name of the drug, but it's a sleep medication, because she wasn't sleeping at night. I've talked about this before, standing over me at 3 a.m, waking me up going, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, she couldn't tell the difference between 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. And, she'd sleep during the day and then be, rummaging around the house all night. And so we started giving her a sleeping pill. And one of the big things with dementia patients is, the sleep system gets off, but then they either get not enough sleep or way too much sleep. And, basically, I hate to say this, but if you knock them out at night, they will sleep through most of the night and their body gets a little more regulated. I started all three of those with her at the same time. So I don't know if it was one, the other, or the combination of all three. I really think the Cymbalta was a big one, because so many of the things that she was doing looked like anxiety. I've commented on this before, but she would hear a noise next door, the neighbor getting out of their car and slamming their car door, and she'd be like, what's that? And, she'd have to get up and investigate, and then she was outside, and then she was walking off. And, now she'll still hear things, and she'll kind of look, and I'll say, oh, it's the neighbor next door opening, closing their car door. She's like, oh, okay. And she's fine. She's not drugged up. She's not sitting around lethargic. She's still active, but she doesn't have that anxiety of every noise, everything that happens, just constantly needing to get up and go do things. It's just taken that edge off, and that's made all the difference. So I think it's the anti-anxiety, but like I say, it's probably a combination of all three, which is something I talk about in the book. It's like, look, I know a lot of people are anti-pharmaceutical, and I know there's side effects and all that kind of stuff, but oh my God, you got to try this stuff, because it has worked wonders for her. Doesn't mean it'll work for everyone with dementia, but wow, it has worked for her. Let's see what else. I don't think I've done one of these since June, since mid-June. I went to Vegas. Good news, bad news. Came back from Vegas. That's when my foot got infected. I just walked more than I'd walked, and you know how much you walk in Vegas. Even though I was trying to take it easy, we saw a show at the Sphere, and so we went to the Venetian, and people were like, "Oh, it's easy. You just walk from the Venetian over to the Sphere. It's great. It's connected. It's better than trying to get into the Sphere parking lot." Holy crap, we looked at the map and it's like, oh, that's 0.8 miles, and that's no big deal under normal circumstances. I do that no problem, but that's probably 4 times as far as I'd walked at any point in the last month because of my ankle. And all I know is I came back and it was just massively, that's when I got the cellulitis and it was infected. So, yeah. But no doubt at the Sphere. Holy crap, what a great concert. I mean, No Doubt is still an amazing band. Gwen Stefani's 56 and she is still jumping off of things and running the stage, and I liked it because you could tell that it's not lip synced. You could hear her voice wavering. You could hear her get out of breath. It makes for not the perfect concert, but it makes for a real concert. And she is so active. She is just all over the stage. And the Sphere is an amazing place. If you have a chance to see anything there, it's different than any concert venue anywhere. There's just so much sensory overload, but it was very cool. So, Jane and I did that in mid-June. And other than that, I just haven't done much of anything. I've just been home. So, it's, but still, what's happened since the last time I did one of these? I wrote a book. I got infected. I got itchy all over. I got a couple allergic reactions to things. Seems like there's something else going on that I can't think of right now. Anyway, I've spent enough time blabbing. For those of you still with me, thanks for hanging in there on this video. I hope we all get to a point where we can see each other soon, and I hope you're doing well. Please feel free to reach out to me. My schedule is weird. I don't have a schedule. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Work. I think I mentioned last time I lost my biggest client. They're like, we love you. We've loved working with you, but we got somebody who's got better technology. And I'm like, I could have gone and got that technology if I knew you'd wanted it. And I told them that. And they're like, okay, talk to us next year and maybe we'll get you back. Because the technology they wanted is expensive, but I'd rather have the client and have the expense than not have the client. So I'm looking for other things to do. I wrote a book. Hey, there you go. I've started a marketing campaign for insurance, but I'm so fried on insurance. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I get more insurance clients, I'll take great care of them, and that'd be great. But I'm looking at things, to do with AI, businesses to do, creating some art and putting it on Etsy, creating posters. I've got an idea that I think could get some traction, of creating posters on authors, artists, historical figures of the timeline of their life, influential things that they did. And it looks really good. I mean, I put together, I think it's a really nice prompt on Claude, and it's creating some really cool stuff. So once I have enough of those built up, I think I'm just going to dump them all at once on Etsy and see if fans or teachers or something like that are interested in looking at that or buying it. Print on demand kind of stuff. I don't want to be involved with warehousing and creating and that kind of thing. I just want to create an e-file that someone can go print on Printify or something like that and have it for their room or their classroom or whatever. And as that gets closer, I'll send out links to examples on that so you can see what I'm talking about. But I think it's got potential. Also, just looking to see if what I can do, kind of learning a lot about AI, because I've got all these business owner clients that I've worked with over the last 30 years that, I literally have 200 or 300 business owners who I could just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I'm now doing this. Would you be interested in? And, they'll at least take my call. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. I'll be 60 in a few months. So I guess I should get on with the growing up part. Anyway, that's what's going on. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, please feel free to reach out, say hi. Oh, I started talking about my schedule before. I'm not super busy, but you never know when I'm going to be busy. And phone calls, Mom's better about it, but for a while there, it was kind of like if I was on the phone, she was agitated. Me being on the phone would get her, stalking the house and circling, literally circling our house inside and sometimes outside, and then she'd go outside and then she'd be gone. And it's why for a while, I didn't call anyone. I tried to be hush-hush even with my clients. She's better now, so I do feel like I can talk without without it agitating her. But the downside is she still doesn't like it when I talk about her. And so many times, friends call me and say, hey, how's your mom doing? I can't really answer because, she can hear me. So that's a big part of the reason that I haven't gotten on the phone with a lot of people and talked to them, is for so long it was just, it caused her problems. She's better about it, but I still try to keep it to a minimum. Anyway, take care. I've rambled for long enough. Oh my God, 18 minutes. Who wants to listen to 18 minutes of me? I'll talk to you later.